Standing 1,083 feet above Paris, the Eiffel Tower is arguably the world's most recognizable structure. Visited by 7 million people annually, photographed countless times every day, the undisputed symbol of France itself. But this iron giant almost never existed. It was supposed to be demolished after 20 years, dismissed by leading artists as a metal monstrosity, and survived only through luck, ingenuity, and one man's stubborn determination to prove iron could be art. The tower's history is far stranger than its fairy tale image suggests. Suicide attempts, scientific experiments, Nazi occupation, con artists selling it for scrap, and a woman who married the structure itself. Today, advanced AI technology allows us to transform historical photographs and documents into vivid recreations, bringing the tower's dramatic construction and controversial history back to life. Join me as we uncover the secret history of the Iron Giant, from its scandalous birth through its near-death and ultimate triumph as Paris's most beloved landmark. The impossible dream. Why build it? Paris in 1886 is planning something unprecedented, a universal exposition for 1889, celebrating the centennial of the French Revolution. The organizers want a centerpiece, something that will dominate the exposition and announce France's technological prowess. They launch a competition: design a tower 1,000 feet tall to serve as the entrance arch. This is insane. Nothing that tall has ever been built. The Washington Monument, completed just 2 years earlier, stands 555 feet and is made of solid stone. A 1,000-foot iron structure seems impossible, a fantasy that will collapse under its own weight or blow over in the first strong wind. But Gustave Eiffel, a 53-year-old engineer who's built bridges, viaducts, and the internal framework for the Statue of Liberty, believes it can be done. Actually, his employees, Maurice Couchelin and Émile Nouguier, designed the initial concept, but Eiffel bought the patent and made it his own. He refines their design with architect Stephen Sauvestre, adding decorative arches to soften the stark industrial appearance. Eiffel's proposal wins, but it immediately triggers a firestorm. In February 1887, prominent artists publish a petition in Le Temps newspaper, calling the tower a metal monstrosity, a gigantic black smokestack that will dominate Paris like an odious column of bolted sheet metal. Guy de Maupassant, Alexandre Dumas the Younger, and other cultural luminaries sign, viewing the tower as an industrial nightmare. They call it "this Tower of Babel," claiming future generations will mock France. One architect suggests it will literally lean over and crush surrounding buildings. Another claims the calculations are wrong and the tower will collapse during construction. Eiffel responds brilliantly. He argues that engineering has its own beauty, that the tower's curves are determined by mathematical formulas resisting wind forces, that function creates form. Do not the laws of natural forces always conform to the secret laws of harmony? It's a radical argument. Industrial design can be aesthetic, but he also addresses practical concerns. The tower will be temporary, dismantled after 20 years when the land lease expires. This promise, ironically, is what allows construction to proceed. The construction, an engineering marvel. Work begins in January 1887. The foundation alone requires excavating massive pits for each leg, sinking them to solid bedrock. The 2 legs closest to the Seine are below the water table, requiring compressed air caissons. Underwater chambers where men work in dangerous conditions, risking decompression sickness that can paralyze or kill. The foundation work takes 5 months, but it's crucial. The workers achieve precision within millimeters, astounding with 1880s technology. 4 massive masonry piers rise, angled inward, ready to support the iron legs. The iron arrives prefabricated from Eiffel's factory, over 18,000 individual pieces cut and drilled with precision. Every beam, every rivet hole is calculated in advance. The pieces fit together like a massive puzzle. The assembly is done by just 300 workers, specialists, comfortable working at extreme heights without safety equipment. They climb the tower as it rises, working on platforms that seem impossibly fragile. Watch them at work. A crane lifts a massive iron beam. Workers guide it into position. Riveters heat rivets in portable forges until they're glowing orange. Then toss them to catchers who grab them with tongs, insert them into pre-drilled holes, and hammer them while hot. The hammering is rhythmic, musical almost, hundreds of rivets being driven simultaneously. The most dangerous moment comes at the first platform, 187 feet up, where the four legs must join perfectly. If misaligned, they won't meet properly and the structure will be compromised. Eiffel uses hydraulic jacks allowing precise adjustments. The fit is perfect. By December 1887, the first platform is complete. By August 1888, the second platform at 377 feet. The third platform and top take until March 1889. The entire construction takes just 26 months, a speed that shocks everyone. Only one worker dies during construction, remarkably low for such dangerous work. Eiffel's attention to safety, his careful planning, his use of guardrails all contributed to this record. The tower opens March 31st, 1889. Gustave Eiffel climbs the 1,710 steps to the top. The elevators aren't ready yet, and plants the French flag. Paris has its centerpiece. The criticism and the con. The artistic opposition doesn't stop when the tower opens. Critics call it a metal asparagus, a tragic street lamp. Guy de Maupassant reportedly ate lunch in the tower's restaurant daily because it was the only place in Paris where he couldn't see the tower. But the public loves it. During the 6 months of the 1889 exposition, nearly 2 million people visit. They wait hours for elevators, climb to platforms offering unprecedented views of Paris. The sensation of being that high is unlike anything people have experienced. The tower makes money, lots of it. Entrance fees cover most construction costs within the first year. Eiffel is granted admission revenue for 20 years, after which the tower is supposed to revert to the city and be demolished, but Eiffel is already scheming to make it indispensable. He transforms the tower into a scientific instrument. He builds an aerodynamics laboratory, studies air resistance, installs meteorological instruments. Most crucially, he embraces wireless telegraphy. By 1903, the tower has a permanent radio antenna, DU.